Okay, so I know that the last video probably seemed short. We were only able to do one example. Lots of new vocabulary things to talk about, plus I decided to do a little lip sync at the beginning, so I ran out of time. Max videos on my little server are 15 minutes. So let's see if we can catch up a little bit with the homework help video. I want to see if, really the only new thing that you were learning was about the holes. And then, this is also kind of the first time that we're kind of laying out some of these facts about a rational function. Uh, so let's try a few of these. Hopefully, I can get 2 or 3 examples done here. I'm going to try to work as fast as I can without going too fast. So this is number one. Here, the big idea here, and this is kind of the whole thing for the entire assignment is, what is happening when the bottom of this original problem equals 0, right? When this equals 0, we have discontinuity. We have a place where our function can't exist because you can't divide by 0, right? So to find the places where this is going to give us a 0, we are going to factor this, right? So I'm going to factor out, first I'm going to factor out a 3. And so that'll be x squared plus x minus 6, okay? All right, so now we're going to look for factors of -6 that add to give us 1. So I think that's going to be negative. So factors of -6 that are going to add to give us +1. So I think that's going to be a -2 and a +3, right? So 3 times 2, 3 times -2 gives us -6, and 3 plus -2 gives us 1. So if I was going to rewrite this problem in factored form, I got to have the 3 there, right, because I took out a 3. And then I would have x plus 3, right, because 3 was one of my factors, and then x minus 2. Okay, so we're going to have 2 points of discontinuity, right? We know that right away. We're going to have 2 points of discontinuity. One point of discontinuity where this equals 0, and the other one where this equals 0. Okay, so let's work those out really quick. I don't think that that's going to be too difficult. And so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, so we get x equals -3. All right, so this is going to be one of our points of discontinuity. We'll talk about what kind here in a second. The other one is going to be x minus 2 equals 0. We add 2 to both sides, and we get x equals 2. So x equals -3 and x equals 2 are our 2 points of discontinuity. So let's go ahead and put that in first, right? So our discontinuity happens at -3 and also at 2. All right, so that's where our points of discontinuity are going to happen when x is equal to -3 and when x is equal to 2. All right, now holes. Let's talk about where the holes are in this problem. Because when we factored, we never simplified out something, right? Holes only happen when you simplify out an x, right? So because the top here, our numerator was 1, when we factored, we weren't able to get rid of anything. So we're not going to have any holes, all right? Now, what we are going to have is vertical asymptotes, right? Our vertical asymptotes, there's going to be 2 of them. One of them is going to be at this point of discontinuity, and the other one is going to be at the other point of discontinuity, okay? So, so we've got 2 vertical asymptotes. Both of those are going to exist there. You might be asking yourself, how are you allowed to have 2 vertical asymptotes? Um, you know, Vertical is a word that I think describes a lot of things, including the asymptote in this problem. We've got 2 of those asymptotes happening in this problem, and both of them are going to be vertical. We'll talk about that in 1 second. I'm going to show you a graph of this, okay? Horizontal asymptote, we are going to have a horizontal asymptote. That horizontal asymptote doesn't move because we don't have anything here, sort of in that k position, right, or that constant added after, right? So we're just going to have a normal y equals 0, or the x-axis is a horizontal asymptote. Okay, now on this particular problem, if you look at the instructions, that's all they ask for. Well, they do ask for x-intercepts. We don't have any here because our horizontal asymptote is at 0, so we're never going to get there. But we should, I think it would be a good thing. But by the way, really quick, we're not going to have x-intercepts. X-intercepts are where y is equal to 0, right? An x-intercept is where we're on the x-axis, meaning that we haven't gone up or down at all. So y, our vertical value, is equal to 0. right? This function is never going to be equal to 0 because of the 1 that's on top, right? There's nothing that you can divide 1 by that's going to make it 0, okay? So that's why we don't have any x-intercepts. Now let's talk about what this graph would look like. We don't have to graph it, right? Number one, you don't have to graph. But if this was 5 or 6, or when you get to like number 8, it's got a trinomial there on the bottom too. So that might be something that's going to help you. So this function in general, we know what its graph is going to look like. Let me go ahead and sketch that for you. Okay, so first I need a sort of an x-axis and then a y-axis. Okay, so the first thing that we know about this is that we've got 2 points of discontinuity. They are both vertical asymptotes, and those vertical asymptotes occur at -3. So let me count to the left, 1, 2, 3. So we've got a little vertical asymptote here, and then at 2. Okay. So that means that we kind of have 3 areas of the function, right? We've got 1, 2, 3 sort of pieces of the function. When you split something twice, you've split it into 3 pieces. Now, we also know that we're not going to be touching the x-axis here, right? And because our function is positive, we know that it's going to start at the top. All right, so we're going to have a little piece that looks like this. And then the other side, the other extreme sort of side, is going to look like this. All right, and then the middle piece is going to happen down here. All right, and it's going to follow those asymptotes, right? So we've got a 3-piece rational function. You could check Desmos for this, but this is what it looks like. Horizontal asymptote here at -3, and then horizontal asymptote here at 2. Okay, let's pick another problem to do, and I'll get that problem set up on the back of this paper, so give me 1 second. Okay, so next I've chosen to do number 3, okay? Kind of a beast because it's got, a trinomial at the top, trinomial at the bottom. So let's start to break this down a little bit to see if we can figure it out. Okay, so the top, right? So first we're going to have to break down the top a little bit. So let me grab a blue marker. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is take out an x from that top part, right? I'm going to factor out an x. So I've got x times x squared. And then left there in the middle, when I take out one of those x's, is just one of the x's, and then left there is going to be a 6. Okay, a -6. So I took out an x there, and so now I've got this trinomial. I can work with that a little bit. I can factor that. This is very similar to some factoring that we did a second ago. I think we're going to end up with, we're going to be going to -3 and +2. All right, so this is going to be x times x minus 3 and x plus 2. How did I get that? Numbers that multiply to give me -6, that add to give me -1, 3 and 2, with the 3 being negative because I want that bigger number to be negative. Okay, so here's the top sort of broken down into its factors. All right, now let's take the bottom and break it down into its factors. So I'm going to do that here. All right, so I've got -3. I'm going to take out the -3, and so I'm left with x squared and then plus x, okay? And then when I take a -3 out there, it's going to be a -6. Okay, so it's going to be, pretty similar to this one, except the 3 and the 2 are going to be switched. This time the 2 is going to be negative, and the 3 is going to be positive. So this is going to be -3 times x minus 2 times x plus 3. Okay, so let's see if there's anything that we can sort of take out, right? So here's my numerator. All right, my numerator factored out was this one, and then this is my denominator. So let's go ahead and write that out. All right, so that's going to be x times x minus 3 times x plus 2, and then over -3 times x minus 2 times x plus 3. Now, looks like we should be able to take care of a lot of business here, but unfortunately our negative signs and positive signs are kind of mixed up, and so I actually don't have anything that matches. The -3 can't do anything with the x. I've got -3 and -2, +2 and +3. Nothing can sort of cancel out, so this is going to be the function that I'm going to have to look at. All right. Now, I've got quite a bit of information here. It's, again, all about what numbers for x produce zeros, right? Now, this time, the top can be 0, right? When you have a 1 up at the top of the function, like we did on the previous problem, the top can't be 0 because the top is 1. Now that we've got variables, there are variables that I could plug in here. There are numbers for x that I could plug in to make this 0. So this time I'm going to have x-intercepts, right? Okay, so when this equals 0, I've got x-intercepts. Okay, now the bottom, all right, when the bottom equals 0, I'm going to have vertical asymptotes, right? So I'm going to have vertical asymptotes. Now, holes happen when I simplify out something. So don't have a hole here, right? Hopefully I'm able to do one more, and I'll show you one that's got a hole. All right, so let's look at our zeros here. So the numbers that I could plug in here that'll give me 0 are 0, right? Because this one, right, is 0. 3, because 3 minus 3 would give me 0. And then negative 2, because negative 2 plus 2. So I'm going to have 3 x-intercepts, 0, 3, and negative 2. All right. I'm not going to have a horizontal asymptote on this one, right? Because there's no value that I can't approach. I encourage you to look at Desmos. You're going to be a little, weirded out by looking at this graph. It looks like a rational function, but it's a little bit different because of the top having a higher power than the bottom. It gets a little slanted. So I actually don't have a horizontal asymptote, but my vertical asymptote comes from this equaling 0, right? So that would be a 2 here, right? 2 minus 2 is going to give me a vertical asymptote because that would make this 0. And then also if this part was 0, so that's negative 3. So vertical asymptotes at x equals 2 and x equals negative 3. So those are going to be my points of discontinuity as well. So 2 and negative 3. Those are my 2 points of discontinuity. Points of discontinuity happen with holes or vertical asymptotes. No holes, 2 vertical asymptotes. So let's go ahead and call that one done. 2 points of discontinuity, both of them from vertical asymptotes. And I also had x-intercepts this time because I had variables on the top. Okay, let's see if I can do one more. Let me get it set up. I'm going to try and find one that's got holes so I can show you that. Okay. Okay, so I decided to zoom forward to number 13. This one is going to have holes because we're going to be able to simplify something out, right? This is what you practiced last week, was simplifying. And so when you simplify out, if you take out something that's got a variable in it, you've created a hole. So let's go ahead and work this one. I've only got 3 minutes left, so I got to go quick. All right, so I'm going to simplify the top. I'm going to take out a 2, and then I'm left with x squared plus 5x plus 6. So that's the numerator, taking the 2 out. Now I'm looking for factors of 6 that add to give me 5. Well, that's just 2 and 3, so that's some pretty easy factoring. So I'm left with 2 times x plus 2 times x minus, or x plus 3. Okay, now let's do the bottom. I'm going to move that down here, and I'm going to put the bottom here once I'm done with it. Okay, so I can factor the bottom here, so I'm looking for factors of the number 2 that add to give me 3. That's pretty easy, right? That's just going to be 2 and 1, right? Because 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So that's going to be x plus 2 and x plus 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and take that denominator, put it where it is here. So now I've got x plus 2 times x plus 1. Okay, so in case you're confused by all the steps that I just did there, this is the function that we're working with, this one right here, okay? Factor the top, factor the bottom, this is what we're left with, okay? This is why we're going to have a hole on this one. X plus 2, this makes the number 1, right? Anything over itself is 1, so we can take that out. So our new function is 2 times x plus 3 times x plus 1. Let me close those parentheses really quick so that it's not super confusing, okay? So that's my new function, but I have a hole here at 2. So let's just go ahead and put that in, right? We're going to have a hole at negative 2. It's negative 2 because that's what's going to make this equal to 0. Okay, now, so we've got and that's going to be a discontinuity. Okay, now the x plus 1, that's going to be my vertical asymptote. That's going to make the bottom of my fraction equal to 0. So negative 1 is going to be that number. So there's my vertical asymptote. So it's going to be x equals negative 1 is a vertical asymptote. Okay. Horizontal asymptote, we are going to have a horizontal asymptote on this one. Because there's a 2 on the top, we are going to have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 2. Okay, so that's going to be a horizontal asymptote. We'll get to that in 1 minute. And then let's see, what else do we have? We've got vertical asymptote, we've got hole. The vertical asymptote, also a point of discontinuity, so we've got 2 of them there. So So there we go. I think we're good now. Now I can sketch the graph. I've only got 5 seconds, so I'm going to pause and then I'm going to sketch the graph. Graphed. Pause. Read this note really quick before my